makes it better? A nice cup of coffee. And that's why today we slug it back here at 9 a.m. We got a nice schedule lined up today when it comes to sports, specifically 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. that is. You have the Philadelphia 76ers and the Jazz. The last that I saw, it looks like Joel Embiid might be questionable. Do I think he's going to play? Probably, because all season long, when you speculated if he would or wouldn't, he did. It's a big matchup. You would like to think that they would want to close out this West Coast trip with a strong performance, 2-2, a lot different than 1-3. So there's a lot on the table for that aspect. I'm curious how they play against this Jazz team. This Utah team is red hot. They are really dishing the ball around beautifully. People are stepping up big time. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. I'm excited to see what's happening here tonight. How's everyone doing on this Monday morning? Michael Miller chimes in and wants Kyle Lowry now. Yeah, see, this is where I'm not having an issue, but I always go back to, wasn't it obvious that they needed some of this stuff? Everyone's all disappointed in what they've seen. And that's why I kind of said, look, even before when they were winning all those games, they had the second easiest schedule in the NBA to a certain point. And that's not to knock the team. This team is a competitive team that's in the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference. But they are not this perfect basketball team by any means. And you see their flaws and the ups and downs and the night-to-night reaction sometimes gets a little crazy for me. You don't think we get the Jazz. See, this is what I'm saying, Jordan. You don't think they win against the Jazz due to the Suns' loss. Well, how does one and the same relate to each other? What, that you see that there are issues with their roster? Yeah, I mean, but that's inevitable, right? That's kind of what we knew heading into this thing. So, yes, there's flaws. And Shake Milton being out definitely hurts the second unit, as you can see. How's that first cup of coffee? Here we go, baby. I had one sip so far. I had the tingles. I always get the tingles after the first sip. And even the second, apparently. Ooh. You know when you drink something hot and it burns and it like sits in the top of your chest? That's exactly what happened. Furcon Korkmaz is in the chat. What's happening, Furcon? How are you feeling on this fantastic Monday morning? I think we're going to get more snow, believe it or not. I don't think today, but this upcoming week, which is insane. Always, it seems. Always. Trade Furcon and I'll have hopes. Who is even worthy to fight Usman next? That's a great... I wish I put that in the title. That was a... Dude. See, that was a fun fight. And he got clocked good with that right-hander, and he did a stumble early in the first round. I thought, do we have something here? And then Usman just went to town. Could I duck his jab a bit? I thought I could duck the jab. His jabs were a lethal weapon. But you should see me and how I kind of move around. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'd be all right. Maybe hit him with an uppercut. Bang! See the spit fly out of his mouth in slow motion. Now, I thought UFC 258, it was okay. The main event was really the first fight on the main card was fun. The co-main was entertaining, but it wasn't anything crazy. But I'm looking at UFC 259 now. Now I'm looking at that card, and I'm thinking, oh, God, here we go. Love that I'm a UFC fan now. Look, I'm learning. There's a lot to learn. The problem I have with it is, the problem I have with it is because these fighters, these one like the top ones, and they get into these gruesome matches, they don't fight so often. It's not like, the Flyers play. They play every 3 days, every 2 days. I can watch them over and over and over again. When I watch a fight, now I need to wait until, like the last time I saw Usman was when he fought Masvidal. But now that I watched enough UFC events, I understand that. But some of these guys and these females, I need to learn who they are and learn some of their storylines. It's sort of like, it's not the same, but let's say you want to start watching WWE and you hit the SmackDown or Raw. Well, you need to know what these storylines are for these fighters to truly understand what's happening. That's kind of where I'm at right now with UFC. So I'm learning. I think I'm on a good path here to continue to learn UFC. But, yeah, I'm excited. The main event saved the whole card. I thought that the first fight was good in the main card. And and unless it was the second, but I'm pretty sure it was the first one. And the co-main was like, but like there were a couple moments of the two chicks throwing off on each other. And but I'm with you. The main card absolutely saved it. And then when you saw the main card for next UFC event, it's like, whoa. Someone asked about Anthony Davis. Yeah, apparently this Achilles injury. And I would hate to say, look, as a LeBronsman, right? As a LeBronsman, that would kill me inside a little bit to see Anthony Davis go down with such a significant injury, regardless of LeBron. Screw that aspect of it, that angle. I don't want to see anyone go down, a top-tier talented player go down with some sort of Achilles injury. That's not good. What are my thoughts on Doc's rotations? Well, look, he likes to go with this sometimes look of the whole bench, or now it's a little messed up because of the injuries, but he'll throw Tobias out there with the whole bench. I don't mind that. It's not like he's got a billion options, right? I mean, the bench is kind of what it is. I know people are now screaming for Isaiah Joe over Furkan and this and that. There's nothing game-changing that he's missing out on, where he's just so horrendous with choosing who to put out there throughout this season for me to be like, you know what's wrong? Doc's rotations. It's kind of like what the roster is. It goes back to everything I've been saying for years. Look at the roster. The roster is what it is. The coach can do certain things, but at the end of the day, it's not like he's missing out on someone, and that's the difference in winning all these games. Do I think Utah is the real deal? No and yes. No and yes. I think they're the same as the Sixers in terms of they're going to have this success and they're going to have this regular season success. But do I think when it comes down to playoff basketball, they're on the same level of the Lakers if Anthony Davis is healthy? No, I don't. I don't look at them as like that amazing, insane NBA team. Who do you think this will be the 5 in the Phillies rotation? This is coming from Blaine over on Twitter. I think it's going to be Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, Zach Eflin, Matt Moore, and Anderson to start the season. From there, if they start losing their spots or whatnot, then things will change. Would I trade for George Hill? I mean, he's a veteran point guard. You need like a shot creator, though. How far could I see the Sixers team going in the playoffs? Eastern Conference Finals, I kind of see. I say when they play their best basketball, which you need to rely on your shooters to make their shots, and Seth Curry and Danny Green. It can't be their off nights, but you got to get their best basketball. If you get that, they're at the top of the Eastern Conference. I'm not saying the best, but they're in the conversation with any of the teams in the Eastern Conference, if that is the case. Do I think the COVID break could negatively impact the Flyers? For sure. I mean, you're not playing hockey for a decent amount of time, and it looks like they are going to practice today, which is nice. I missed them. I hope they play on Thursday, but I saw Sanheim went off the list, and someone went on the list. Who was it that went on? But Sanheim went off, which maybe that tells me that Sanheim did not have COVID. Who ended up? Oh, Travis Konecny. Travis Konecny went on. Lakers and Nets to the finals. There's no way this Nets team with this defense makes the finals. I'd be shocked. I really would be. I think I would be absolutely shocked. Although they have those lethal weapons scoring-wise, but you have no depth. They kind of remind me a little bit of what the Sixers did before, where they just got all these guys and like, all right, let's go do it, without realizing that there's another element to it. There's another element to it. Brodes, are Philly going to win? Are Philly going to win? I need a little bit more context here. TK needs to step up. Yeah, he's having a really tough season to start here, and he had his tough season last year at the end with the playoffs, and we were all questioning, can Travis Konecny do it? I don't know. I don't know if he can. Sixers Jazz would be real interesting. For what, the NBA Finals, or you just mean tonight? Tonight's action at 9 o'clock. I'm thankful it's not 10, though. I used to be a 10 guy. I said it before. For 10 o'clock games, for some odd reason, baseball. 10 o'clock baseball games, West Coast. You got Phillies Dodgers, Phillies Padres. You kick back, you relax. You enjoy it. You listen. 2-0. The 3-1 pitch. Low and outside. It's like, oh, this is beautiful. I could do this all day. Blaine, if I knew when the Wentz deal was going to get done, I'd be a billionaire. I'd be selling that information to every reporter in the history of the world. I wish I knew. I have no idea. It could be right now when we're on Coffee with Brodes. It could be tomorrow. It could be 3 months from now. It can be 3 years from now. It can be 25 years from now. It can be 100 years from now. I have no idea. I really have no idea. Do you think the rumored combo of Ertz-Dillard deal happens? I did think that throws another element here, right? I mean, we talk about this line and what are they going to do at left tackle if it is Mailata. It's not as if Dillard is versatile enough to start moving around the line. He's a left tackle. You saw the abysmal play at right tackle. He's not a guard, not a center. You have one spot for him. If Mailata is that dude, are you going to have a first-round talent sitting behind you as your backup left tackle if there's a way to use him for leverage? Now, it all depends on where Andre Dillard fell on opposing teams' draft board. Because he was a first-round pick, it doesn't mean other teams value him as a first-round pick. I do think you're going to see a lot of Ertz in play, though, with this Wentz deal maybe. Maybe that's a possibility where they package Ertz and Wentz up together to move forward, and I don't know. I have, at this point, I am so damn tired of this Wentz thing. And now that it's Monday, you know, when Friday came, when the news didn't break, and when you realize, okay, Saturday it's not happening, I thought, all right, take a couple deep breaths, watch the Sixers, even though they gave us a bad performance against the Suns, just take a breath. Here we are again. Monday comes around quickly, no doubt. Philadelphia Phillies, over under 82.5. I'm actually going to go over. Call me an asshole. You can. I promise it won't bother me. It won't hurt my feelings. I get called it all the time. But I'm going to go over. Tristan, I did not get to go to the Super Bowl parade. I've told this story before. But when they won the Super Bowl, I was still playing college hockey at the time, and I was injured, so I actually couldn't practice or play. I had thumb surgery, so I wasn't even able to play. Or was that the year I had the foot problem? Regardless, I wasn't able to be on the ice, but they won the Super Bowl. So I went up to my coach. I'm like, Coach, had a nice meeting in his office. The old open door policy. Went on the knock-in. Hey, Coach, can I talk to you for a second? He's like, yeah, Brodes, what's going on? Well, you know what I mean? And he sat on it for a while. He said, dude, I asked my wife. I sat there and pondered it, knowing how much it would mean to you. But I have to say no. You set, you set a code, if you will, as a coach. If you're just going to allow someone to leave the hockey team and go party and go get hammered down Broad Street because of a parade, you committed to this team, and you're going to have to, commit to that. And sadly, I respect him so much that I said, thank you, Coach, for considering. So I stayed at home, at school. But what I did was I put up 2 cones in my living room. I had caution tape right in front of the TV. I got a pack of 30 Miller Lights, and I had it displayed on NBC Sports Philadelphia where they had the parade live. And I was just crushing beers 2 feet from my TV, pretending I had to stand behind the caution tape, celebrating at Broad Street. So that's kind of how I did it. Did I draw the Philly sports team's background? No, that was actually my fiance. She drew it and painted it. Is Bryce Harper disappointing so far in his contract? I don't think so. This is kind of what he is, right? I mean, I know he had MVP seasons in the past, but he's not an MVP guy every single year type guy. He sells the tickets in the seats when you're allowed to be. He's must-watch TV where you need to get your ass in front of the television when he is up to bat. So that's something that's very important as well. No, I don't think Bryce Harper's been disappointing. If anything, he's the reason why JT's back. He's the reason why Didi's back. He's the reason why Dave Dombrowski is making sure that this team stays together the best that they possibly can. Without Bryce Harper and that commitment, I don't think that you really are where you are right now, to be honest with you. So I think he's made a big impact other than just on the field itself. My thoughts on the Flyers COVID situation is it sucks and it's disappointing, and I want to see some hockey back. And speaking of hockey, huge news dropped today. That's right. A big, big announcement from Brodes Media, which is Sports Talk with Brodes. We are rebranding Sports Talk with Brodes. Brodes Media. I will be doing it's going to drop 2 times a week to start. Mondays, Thursdays. It's called Open Ice Hits. It's an NHL podcast. Johnny Gaudreau of the NHL of the Calgary Flames is our weekly guest Episode 1 dropped today at 6 a.m. So if you are a hockey fan looking for some fun hockey content, we're going to be looking around the league. We have the breakdown of the Canadian division uploaded right now. So I'm really excited for that. It's going to be super fun. The Pens? Yeah, the Pens and Hextall and Berkey, they got some things to work on. You're going to have to totally work on some things there. And this season's going to be big. It will define what you're going to do as an organization. Is it ready to give up on the Malkin-Crosby tandem? Is it ready to rebuild? Is it ready to continue to push forward? Where are you? What are you going to do in between the pipe? What are you going to do in between the net? It's crazy. What do I think about Philadelphia and the Jazz? I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this team matches up. If you do not have Joel Embiid tonight, which I fully expect to see him, even though he is listed as questionable, it will be a little defeating. It'll be a little defeating. It's one of, and we've seen that though. How many times Brooklyn? We were waiting for that Brooklyn game for how long? We were going, yeah, baby, Brooklyn. I can't wait to see them play Kevin Durant. What's that? As they were about to play Brooklyn, Kevin Durant had to get called out of the game. He wasn't available for the start of the game prior to the Sixers. Then he went into the game. Then he had to get called out of the game. Then Kyrie Irving didn't play. So in this league, with COVID and everything, you never know what's going to happen. You can fully be aware that something nuts can occur, yet you're excited for the game, and then they take it right from you with the snap of the fingers. That's what they do. I need more of this. I need more. Oh, damn. Thoughts on Clayton Kershaw becoming a Philly? I do not think that is a reality whatsoever. What's up, Philly? Patrick, so who wins tonight? Based off of how they're playing, and because teams go on tough stretches, and because teams, they're not the best version of themselves night in and night out. Sixers are a little weak right now without Shake Milton. I'll say the Jazz. Sadly, I guess I kind of have to. Trade Simmons and Furkan for a stud 3 or 4 and start Maxey. What have you seen out of Maxey for you to feel so confident that you want to get rid of Ben Simmons? For real. I like Tyrese Maxey, but that's sort of a very irrational comment. Oh, get rid of Ben. I am so annoyed with Ben. I am. What do you, like, Tyrese Maxey's been making mistakes all over the place because he's a rookie. You're going to expect this guy to walk in and be a leader, a point guard leader, and bring this organization to a championship run this year? I just don't understand. I really don't. Would I keep you, Furkan Korkmaz? No. Fuck no. Hell no. Do I think that Doc is part of the reason why Simmons' stats are down this season? As much as I hate Brett, I think he's gotten more out of Simmons than Doc has. I think he's gotten more out of Ben offensively. Yeah. When it comes to Brett Brown. And with the flawed roster, too, that's crazy to think about. With how brutal it was and how there was no fit involved, you did have better offensive production. Here's the counter, though. And I love my theories always count. Like I like to play both sides. Not really theories. I like to play both sides, look at both angles, and sort of assess from there. Do you need Ben to be the same scorer that he was when you have Seth, Danny? You don't need him to be as much of a I need to go score guy, which is fair. The spacing changes that with Tobias. So I'm aware of that. But I'm not sitting here demanding for the guy. I need him to get back to, he was what, 16.8 or so points per game last year. Well, when he plays around 13, like that's unacceptable. You can find a balance of better offensive play out of Ben, but still utilize the spacing and the shooters at the same time. The argument I always hear is, well, if his assist total is 12, 13, but his points are down, aren't you getting the same scoring? And who cares where it comes from as long as it comes from the Sixers? And I'm not discrediting that. I think that is a valid point. But all I'm asking for is let me find the happy medium. Get Ben Simmons to be more aggressive because he can be. And I've seen games where he gives you X amount of points high in the 20s and still gives you 11, 12 assists. Both can happen. That's how good Ben Simmons can be. So don't say that, well, he doesn't need to be. No. He can be both. And if he is both, that's when this team takes the serious jump. When he is both. That is what's holding this team back. And it's not as if I'm asking Furkan Korkmaz to do this. My point is, it's a reasonable ask. It's not outrageous. I'm not asking TJ McConnell to log me in double-doubles every night or triple-doubles every night. I'm not asking TJ McConnell to defend LeBron James. I'm asking for the Jagoff to play the best of his ability. Jagoff was a little strong. I didn't know if I had to go to that level. Opinion on the JJ coming back to Philly. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I think in terms of when you look at this roster, right? While shooting is important and everyone's down on Danny Green and they think he sucks and there's a reason why he was in the Al Horford deal and there's a reason why we talk about the expiring contract with him. But when you look at Seth, when you look at Danny, when you look at Furkan, not that I love it, Doc likes it. When you have other holes, there's other holes. The shooting, you have that in spacing now. You need a backup point guard. You need a guy who can create his own shot. You need a backup four. I think there's other areas where the shooting angle, it's somewhat filled. I think you need more. There's other holes that are bigger holes. This is more of a minor hole in shooting. So with that being said, I think you have to kind of weigh what is more of a problem right now. Is it spacing in Danny Green, Seth Curry, Tobias Harris, and Furkan? Or is it backup point guard? Is it shot creator? Because I would tend to lean more towards shot creation side of things. Do you think we need more of a creator off the bench? Yes. Yeah, no doubt about it. They need a guy who can create his own shot. Not many players are giving up. There's a reason why there's not a billion shot creators out there available. Now, you'll find that veteran guy. You will find that dude who hits the market, and that does happen. But the great ones, they're picked up for a reason. Do I think that Rhys can have a breakout year? No. Nope. My expectations for Rhys Hoskins have dipped insanely. I think at this point, he is what you've seen him. A very streaky guy. When he's hot, he's hot. When he's ugly, he is lost. I think he's due for a terrible, awful stretch every single season where it makes my eyes bleed. He's a terrible defender, and he also has had a surgery. He's coming off of a surgery. So when you look at Rhys Hoskins coming off of a surgery, hasn't been who he came into the league being, with this scorching and insanely talented player. My expectations for him are eh. And to be honest with you, I'd trade him. And there was a point in time where I wouldn't. I loved it. And here's another thing. He bats second. I'm done with this batting second bullshit. Hey, Rhys, you're a home run hitter, dude. You're supposed to be swinging. Here he is, waiting for the walks. He's up the bat. Oh, what's that? A ball of it. Oh, what's that? A ball of? Oh, what's that? A strike right down the pipe? Okay. Oh, what's that? Another strike right down the pipe? Yeah, I'm just looking for my damn walk because here's Bryce Harper who hits behind me. His OBP. Oh, woohoo. I'm done with the garbage of him batting second. Get Rhys Hoskins into a spot where his mentality is, I'm going to fucking hit dingers because the guy needs to hit the ball. He's so worried about walking. It's doing him a disservice. It really is. So, no, I don't feel great about Rhys Hoskins. This is coming in from Furkan Korkmaz. Thank you, Furkan, for the $2 donation. Love the content, man. Score prediction for tonight. It's hard to predict an NBA score. We'll go somewhere around like 116 to 110. 116, 110 for the Utah Jazz. Not that I'm happy to say that. I'm not. Thoughts on Oladipo and PJ Tucker to the Sixers? Either one of those, for sure. I'm in. I would like Oladipo, and I think PJ Tucker is a perfect fit for that 4 position behind Tobias Harris. You always got to date it back, though, to the Daryl Morey ties. Will P.J. Tucker ever be involved? And you also, with Oladipo, what would you be willing to give up and all? But, I mean, Oladipo's a baller. Oladipo can play, and he's someone that can definitely help this team. He's a weapon. I'd be all down to get a little Oladipo in here, for sure. Do I think Odubel Herrera will be back? I find it interesting that they keep bringing it up as if they don't know what's going to happen. The more they keep saying they don't know what's going to happen, I feel it might. I feel it might. And from there, I don't know what that means. Maybe I'm wrong. And it was a financial move from the beginning, if you remember. There's a reason why he stood around and stayed around. But if he does come back, and I know how this world is nowadays with, if you do one thing bad, you're canceled forever. And look, what he did was a fucking disgrace. Nobody is ever going to say anything otherwise. But if they were to bring him back, something tells me inside, and I hope I am right, that he is showing a lot of progress. He is committing to becoming a better person, committing to therapy, committing to domestic violence stuff, committing to making sure that he has learned from this and become a better person and has changed, to act as if someone can't, go through something like that and seriously have a big wake-up call. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong to bring him back because of it. To cancel everyone right away from mistakes instantly, I think gets a little aggressive in today's world. So if they do bring him back, I would love to know exactly what type of protocols he went through for them to bring him back is kind of what I'm saying, to be honest with you. So that's kind of how I see it personally. Mickey Moniak is a popular prospect. Mickey Moniak sucks. Mickey Moniak is awful. That was a terrible pick. He looks overwhelmed. There's no way a first overall pick should be that overwhelmed. Seriously, that overwhelmed? You might have rookie flaws. You might have problems. You might make errors. You might look overmatched at the plate. You can't be that pathetic in the outfield. He doesn't know how to track a baseball. First overall pick in the MLB doesn't know how to track a baseball. He stinks. Stinks. I'm out on Mickey Moniak. Get him out of my damn franchise. Blows. Terrible player. Pirates will probably be the worst team next year. They'll be the worst team forever. They're not committed to doing nothing. They're a joke of a franchise. Surprise Eagles candidate who will be cut or traded. Dude, with this salary cap problem, anybody on the list that you think there's going to be some tough decisions made. More than just Ertz, which the decision is pretty much already clear. There's going to be a big-time name that you're going to go, whoa. And that's part of the problem. Everyone says, well, Howie's going to get out of it, which is true. He is going to get out of it because he's forced to get out of it because it's demanded to get out of it. Getting out of it's going to cost you some top dogs. So there's going to be some major changes involved for sure. I look like a less cracked out version of Adrian. I love Adrian. Haven't talked to him in a while. You're going to be regretting that when Moniak is the next Yelich? He stinks. 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 Mickey Moniak could be the worst first pick in MLB history. Excited to see Embiid versus Gobert. Me too. I just saw that yesterday he was questionable, though. Joel Embiid was questionable. We've seen questionable with back tightness and back stiffness before. What ended up happening? My guy went out there and balled, and he played, and he probably dropped 30-plus points. So we see this all the time this season. Let's be clear. We see this all the time this season. Rudy Gobert versus Embiid, though, this is the matchup I would love to see him. If he goes out there and gives you 30-plus, does that not get you a little bit excited downstairs, if you know what I'm saying? Rank Philly teams in terms of popularity? Well, I think that's a no-brainer. It's Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, Flyers. That's realistic. The Phillies faithful, though, it's a very fraudulent fan base. There's Phillies fans out there, but the Phillies, they don't compare to the Sixers or the Eagles. Yes, 4 for 4 in Philadelphia is a real thing, but I do think the extreme sports passion, it really dials deep into the two teams up top in the Eagles and the Sixers. The Phillies, losing franchise. The Flyers, they have their own cult. They have their own community off to the side. But I do think that there's some fraudulent stuff happening when it comes to like, oh yeah, passion Philly. Yeah, for two of the teams. Now, I like to go deep in all four, but I'm just saying big picture-wise. When you look at it overhead, I think that there's a lot of flawedness involved. Would I take Justin Fields at 6? I'm an Ohio State fan. I don't think he could produce because our QBs don't produce in the NFL. His quarterback factory can't fix that. Hurts will be a better option for 2 years. If they find a guy, if they see a guy and value a guy high enough to take him at 6, with their current quarterback situation, I can't say that I would go against it. I can't say that I would be upset about it. If they believe that their guy, the guy that they believe is the next Eagles quarterback, is available at 6, I don't know how you can pass up on that if Jalen Hurts is your option. With that being said, I think Jalen Hurts is a fine stopgap guy. I keep putting him into that stopgap guy conversation. Guys like to play for him. He's coachable. There's a little bit of a spark and excitement because of who he is. There's also big-time flaws. There's lack of adjustments. There's adjustments from other teams that play against him that realize he's just going to run around a little bit. Will you have a 2-win season under Hurts? I would like to say no. My point is, I was going to say, he's someone that you're not going to be 2-3 wins, but look, he was 1-3 in his 4 games. People act as if this guy was a dominating force and ready to take over the entire league last year when it wasn't the case at all, to be honest. It wasn't. Kyle Lowry for Tyrese Maxey and Furkan in a draft pick. I like Kyle Lowry a lot. I think that would improve this team and make it a reasonable jump in terms of where I think that they stand. Getting rid of Tyrese, I'd rather Shake. I'd rather Matisse. But if Tyrese Maxey was it, that's a guy that if I'm Daryl Morey, I would trust Daryl Morey's opinion on this if he pulled the trigger on it. But you're going to have to give up some to get some. I think Tyrese Maxey's going to be a stud. But when you're in the NBA, you got to realize that at some point your mindset changes. Yes, this kid might become a special player. Yes, he might become an all-star. Yes, he can do some nice things and really take it to the rack beautifully. But are you ready to win a championship right now? You give up those pieces to help you go win that championship. So if Daryl Morey thinks that it's Kyle Lowry that makes this team improve like I do, well, then you might have to give up that 5, 6, 7 years of Tyrese Maxey down the road to go try and win your title. So if that's what it takes, it's on the table. To answer the question, it's on the table. Is Shake Milton a 6th Man of the Year candidate? No. Shake Milton, he's been having a really tough stretch. And people go, oh, but he's averaging X amount of points. Do you watch the games? Sometimes it takes him 12 shots to get 12 points. It's not very efficient. I think Shake Milton is a fine player. He's an intriguing player. He's a growing player. He's an improving player. I do think that the talk about him sometimes is like he's this fantastic stud. And I think that that's going overboard. I think that that's a stretch. If you had to trade Shake, Tyrese, or Thibault, who are you letting go? It's between Shake and Thibault. I think Thibault brings you this special element defensively. The lack of scoring, it crushes you. And there'll be the people, and I love defense more than anyone in the history of basketball. So no one needs to sell me what anyone does on the floor defensively. But there's only so much defense can do before the flaws offensively really does destroy you and hurt you. And that's not to say that, like, these three guys you bring up, Shake, Tyrese, as I get a phone call here, decline. Shake, Tyrese, Matisse, they're all good players. They are all players that are beneficial to a team. So just because I say, yeah, I think it's this guy, it doesn't mean that that's a knock on him. There's a reason why teams would want them back in a trade, because they have a skill set. Matisse, the only reason why I'd be nervous to move on from him is because I think in the postseason, he's going to be an X factor at times. When Ben's on the bench, he can guard to somebody else. He's going to be able to be such a difference maker defensively that I guess because of how raw he is, but I think he's the better overall player as you move forward through the line. It's Tyrese Maxey, but because of where you are right now, I guess maybe Maxey would be the name. I think maybe Maxey would be the name. It's not easy for me to say, but I think it would be Maxey. Good morning, Brodes. How are you? Wes, how are you? Thanks for joining in on Coffee with Brodes. We are now going every day. Every weekday. Okay. I need those weekends. But Monday through Friday, 9 a.m., we are going to be doing this. So this is a daily thing. You're going to have your coffee with me. Wayne Simmons may be out of Toronto. Well, he got injured. So he's injured right now. He was playing great hockey. He found himself again. He played the hockey that he was playing in his prime earlier. I love how we were all clowning on Tobias after week one, and then he comes out and his second best scorer on our team. Yeah, Tobias has been an excellent addition. This is, you can almost look at what Tobias has done this year as they made an off-season addition. That's the difference in what you're seeing out of Tobias Harris. It's so unreal. And if this is who he is, then yeah, I mean, this is why I think about the team the way that I do. A player like Tobias Harris playing the way that Tobias Harris has been balling. It's a difference maker team. Brodes, I love how the channel is expanding. Thank you. Yeah, I'm super, super, super pumped up. There's still so much happening behind the scenes that everything hasn't been officially announced. In the next 2 weeks or so, there'll be more of an official announcement. Right now, just some teases along the way, but there will be some official announcements as we continue to push. Is this finally Pavetta's year to break out? Oh! Nick Pavetta. That's a name I haven't thought about in a while. I hate his face. I really do. Oh, I wanted to punch it every time I saw him. Remember when he would bitch and complain and cry and look so sad when he was on the mound and he threw 50 pitches in an inning and he'd stomp his way back to the dugout when Gabe Kapler would come with his aviators and put his hand out, and then Nick Pavetta would say, Gabe, I don't want any coconut oil. Please don't give me coconut oil. And Gabe Kapler's like, Give me the baseball, son. And there's Nick Pavetta crying. I hate Nick Pavetta. Should we get another backup five? I always go back to this. With the backup five, because Joel Embiid is playing 38 minutes in a playoff game, you need 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Not necessarily. Very matchup heavy. Depends on the matchup. Could you throw Ben Simmons at the 5? If you throw Ben Simmons at the 5, now, and even if it's just let's say 4 minutes, now you only need 6 minutes of Dwight Howard. So based off of how much Embiid is going to play, based off of maybe being able to throw Ben there, maybe, I'm just hypothetically speaking, how many minutes of Dwight Howard do you need? Once again, this goes back to when you weigh the options here, what do you need more? Do you need that backup 5 more? Do you need that versatility with the ball handling more? Audie James coming in on Twitter, the best part of waking up. You're damn right it is, baby. Go make sure you check out the Open Ice Hits that dropped this morning. First episode with Johnny Gaudreau checking in. Wentz for Mahomes? I don't like Mahomes' upside. Who's the best pick at 6? There's a lot of different options. Outside corner, any of the playmakers. When you're that high, you can't go wrong. When you have a roster that's this brutal, you need to fix it, right? So there's a lot of players that can fix them in a lot of different areas. It's hard to go wrong. I wouldn't even throw out, look, I would have quarterback, wide receiver, outside corner, linebacker, Micah Parsons, any of those guys, whether that's trading down to get them, offensive line help. I have everything on the table. Best player available because every position can use an upgrade. There's not one position on this team that can't use an upgrade. Brodes, thoughts on Eagles wishing Alshon a happy birthday. What a joke. What a joke. You know how many people came at me? Brodes, Alshon helped win a Super Bowl. Thanks. Hey, thanks. I didn't know that. For some reason, I just fucking forgot. You don't think I know that? The Alshon Jeffrey nonsense is an embarrassment. I'm going to wish him a happy birthday. Get the hell out of here. Kyle Lowry's from Philly. He would stay. That crossed my mind. Do you have a scenario where he loves it, he wants to win a championship, and he's someone that sticks around knowing that he's in a spot where, look, they're going to be serious. They're going to be legit. This is my hometown. Maybe there's something to that. It's got to be a discussion, right? Who do I think will have a better career, Herbert or Burrow? Christian, that's a very interesting question. Man, I like both of those quarterbacks. I think Burrow is more of a... I don't think his game is as sexy. I think Justin Herbert's game pops more sexy to the eye, more appealing to the eye. And that's not to say Joe Burrow's game isn't fun to watch, because it really is. But when you watch Herbert play, like for example, Mahomes is amazing. Why is that? It's a sexy watch. There's other quarterbacks that aren't. Tom Brady's not as sexy, but he's a elite quarterback. With Herbert, and this is a different. I'm putting it in perspective in that way where Justin Herbert, I think, is more of a watch where it's like, whoa, you always got to be on the edge of your feet because something special and escaping can kind of happen. He can make those nice, entertaining plays happen. With Joe Burrow, I think it's a little bit more structured, if that makes sense. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense to anybody else, or am I a complete idiot? I could be a complete idiot. I get called that all the time. Lowry and Ben don't like each other. When it comes to winning a championship, all that drama goes away, man. All that goes away. It really does. Oh, yeah, I didn't even answer the question on who's better. Man, both are very... there's not enough of a sample size for me. I know that's not a great answer, but I'm someone who... I need long periods of time. I got a handful of games with Joe Burrow, and I got an interesting situation to get thrown into the fire for Justin Herbert, but there's not enough of a sample size to base this off of. If you asked me in 2017 about Carson Wentz, guess what? I'd say Carson Wentz is better than everybody. I'd take him over anyone. And then what do you know? 3 years later, here I am telling him to get the hell out of town. So I need more of a stretch. J.J. Watt to Green Bay, please. You want J.J. Watt in Green Bay? J.J. Watt playing with his brother would be dominating. To add him to Pittsburgh would be nuts. I say go to Tampa Bay. You want a championship? You're getting up there in your career? Go play with Tom Brady. Not rocket science. I'd have a championship ring if I went to Tampa Bay right now as an intern head coach next year. Intern coach and join the staff. Guess what? I'd be walking back to Brodes Media with a damn ring on my finger. Why? Tom Brady. Hot take. Jalen Hurts will have a better career than Tua. Well, the thing is with that is, are you saying Tua's going to be a bust? Or are you saying Jalen Hurts is going to be phenomenal? Because there's two ways to look at that. You're either saying Tua's not a great quarterback and Jalen Hurts being average is going to be a better career than Tua, or Tua's a great quarterback, Jalen Hurts is that much better. Two totally different ways to view that discussion. Wentz is a disgrace. No, he's not a disgrace. Why is he a disgrace? Because he's unhappy. You know who else is unhappy? Aaron Rodgers. You know who else is unhappy? Russell Wilson. Do you know who else was unhappy? Matthew Stafford. Do you know who else is unhappy? Deshaun Watson. Do you know who else is unhappy? J.J. Watt. All of this is true. Now, did I think Carson Wentz handled this the best way? No. Did he play his best football? No. So blame goes on Wentz. But I can't stand the Philly fan. You go play. Competition. I want competition. Get out of my face. Get out of my face. But is he coachable? Guess what? Frank Reich wants his hands on him. DiFilippo wants his hands on him. Is there something to be said about being stubborn? Yeah, look, there's flaws in Carson Wentz. Teams around the league want the hands on them, and they're guys who have coached him before. So it might be tough to coach Wentz, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. You know what that means? Maybe you don't have the right coach. Maybe you don't have the right coach. Because guess what? Jalen Hurts is, quote, coachable 1-3 in 4 games. Now, look, I mean, the guy's getting thrown into the fire. I'm not making that seem that's who he is forever. But maybe it just has to be about you don't have the right coach in that type of situation that you were in, you know? Bills are a forgotten powerhouse team. I don't think they're forgotten at all. I think everybody knows about them. I think everybody. A lot of questions about the Phillies rotation coming in this morning. How do I feel about the Phillies rotation? I have false optimism. I know I'm going in thinking that Matt Moore would bounce back and that Anderson's going to be a bounce back. I'm going in with this, hey, they're going to be better than we think, knowing that they're not going to be. So the answer, not good enough, to be honest with you. The starting rotation is not going to be good enough. Who's going to have a better career, Justin Jefferson or CeeDee Lamb? Well, Justin Jefferson's going to... he's playing with Thielen. They're both going to be so damn good. They're both going to be so damn good. With how Justin Jefferson's playing right now, you'd have to imagine the answer is him. What would you give up for Russell Wilson? Everything. When you get a guy like Russell Wilson, you give up literally everything. I don't think it's a reality, though. I don't think it's something that's serious. I don't think that's something that, this is your standard. Oh, guess what? Aaron Rodgers was unhappy, too. Guess what's happening with him? Nothing. He's not going anywhere. Russell Wilson, guess what? He's not going anywhere. I'm tired of people saying, what the Philly? What are we wasting? What Josh Sweat had? Yeah, that you're in the biggest cap hell. He wants to win. He wants to win a Super Bowl. Guess who's last on the list? Well, Houston. Guess who's second to last on that list? The Philadelphia Eagles. If not, maybe Jacksonville. All right. Eagles are third to last. He ain't coming anywhere close to this organization. Pavetta or Workman? Workman. Workman sucks. Yeah, Arrieta back to the Cubs. Oh, watch this. Is he going to be a stud? It's hard for me to imagine that he's going to be a stud. But is he going to be a stud? Jake Arrieta? That was a nightmare. I remember going to the first game of him starting in Citizens Bank Park. Chilly. I was right underneath the scoreboard out there in left field. It was kind of cold. I got ice cream anyway out of the helmet. I got the Phillies helmet with the sprinkles on top. I normally call them Jimmys. I don't know why I just did that. And that was my first experience watching Jake Arrieta. And I saw the ball leave the ballpark. I looked over at my fiance, girlfriend at the time. She's now my fiance. Same person. Uh-oh. Took you to a bad game. Probably not ideal. Do I think the Yankees will make the World Series? I'll go no. I have a better odds. If you ever, I'll think no. Those are better odds. Expectations on Alec Boehm. A fantastic hitter. He's going to be miserable defensively to watch, but he's going to rake. How many times did my man hit with 2 strikes? Big situation. Guy on first and second, 2 outs, 1-2 count. What's he do? He drives the ball opposite field. The guy can use every angle, every part of the diamond. He's not worried about pulling it just for the dingers. No. He takes what he gets. What he's given, fine. I'll go the other way. If this is going to be a single through the middle, I'll take a single through the middle. And if there's 2 strikes, it's a beautiful swing. Man, he is just a super fun watch. I can't wait for Alec Bohm, man. The kid is a flat-out stud. And I wonder what's going to happen with first base, Rhys Hoskins, DH. Baseball is a joke. The fact that this is still all kind of happening. But the fact that they're on pace to play 162 is nice. And the fact that there's going to be possibly fans in the stands, that moves my needle even more. I think when New York made a statement the other day that 2,000 fans are going to enter for Knicks games and Nets games and against the Bruins when the Rangers play, that's big for me. And when you think about when baseball is going to begin, as we get ready for pitchers and catchers soon, talk about getting aroused. Might have fans in the stands. Thoughts on Scott Kingery? Man, oh man. He's got a role, okay? I think he's an awesome, and I really do mean this, I think he's an awesome versatility guy. He's a good bench guy. Other than that, he had 19 homers his second year. 19. If you get that version of Scott Kingery, damn. I don't think that's who he is, though. Do I think he's as bad as he was last year? No. I think when you talk about if someone goes out, if Didi goes out, if Gene Segura is injured, if Bohm is injured, you can play this guy anywhere. He could play center field. If McCutchen needs a day off, you could throw Adam Hazley at left field, have him play center field. You can do so much. I think that there's so much value in that with Scott Kingery. The problem is the offensive production can't be last year. He can't be an automatic out at the bottom of the lineup. He can't be Scott Kingery, 0-2 Kingery. I know how bad it was. I know how bad last year was. Last year was terrible. He had COVID-19. Some said that was a problem with his play. I don't put it towards that. Whether that's disrespectful or not, I don't think his play was because of COVID-19. But he did have 19 homers the year before. But last year was a disaster. He's got to be somewhere in between, right? Jonathan Taylor or Edwards Hilaire. See, it all depends on – I think Jonathan Taylor, if he was playing for the Chiefs, I just think both are studs. I can't choose. Boring answer. Sorry. Quinn is atrocious. I never want to see him again. Although he's a walking steal every time he gets on base. Well, the problem is with Scott Kingery, too, they signed him to the big deal before the play even happened. Oh, look at Scott Kingery. Look at this deal. Let's give it to him. Well, now there's some expectations on the kid. If he didn't have that contract and you saw this, you think, damn, you found a guy that is constantly going to be your versatility role, and you wouldn't have the money tied to his name. You put a contract together before he really plays for you, and now it's, okay, what is this, kid? You made the expectations higher than what it needed to be. What do I think the starting wide receiver core is looking like? Greg Ward, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Greg Ward, Jalen Reagor, someone at 6, but if they go out and get other help in other areas, Greg Ward, Jalen Reagor, maybe that J.J. Arcega-Whiteside joke wasn't as bad. Travis Fulgham. Jay Bruce to the Yanks. Yeah, I'm going to miss Jay Bruce. Bruce. Tank. Man, when he moonshot, your jaw dropped and your eyeballs just follow the ball. I miss Jay Bruce. Brandon, what's up, Brodes? Morning. Good morning. Thanks for hopping in. Although this is sort of our 5-minute warning or so until the show's over. We go 1 hour, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. here on Coffee with Brodes. Fulgham looked decent. Yeah, for 4 games, and then what happened? Was that a coaching issue? Was that a work ethic issue? You heard a lot about his tendencies in practice and his body language and him showing that he is more of a, not a head case, but a young player. You can see that he's a young player. he was bounced around for a reason. This is probably more of an odd, if you think about odds. Him not being what he was in the 4 games is probably a better bet than him being who he was in the 4 games. But showing that it's in there. The potential is there to go up and catch 50-50 balls. You're telling me that he went from being able to catch 50-50 balls to Alshon Jeffrey taking 90% of his snaps away? That goes back to what happened last year, who was making the decisions, who made the decisions on the 53, who made decisions on who to play. You paid Alshon money, a lot of contract. Is that a reason why he was taking snaps away from Fulgham? But for me to expect Fulgham to be who he was, I guess I can't do that either. It's a show me kind of thing. Wait and show me. Wait. I'll wait. You show me. There it is. John Hightower's a guy with speed. You see how he stretches the field. I think I'm intrigued by both. But Quez Watkins as well. Chaser Smith. Either or. No preference. Either or. Both are game-changing offensive players. Either or. Devontae Smith pops in everyone's mind more because of what awards he won and the fact that Chase didn't play last year. And because Chase didn't play, it might skew people's opinions on him. Both are fantastic. So, how many of those comical Ricky Bo postgame shows you think we're going to have this year? A good amount. Because I see this team being a little bit better than 500. And if they're a little bit better than 500, that's still 80 plus 70, high 70s of losses. And of those high 70s, there's going to be some really miserable ones and messy ones. Joel Embiid stats for tonight. If he plays, he's been dropping 30 pretty consistently. 28 and 12. Going to the line 12 times. How's that? Is that all right? Would that satisfy anyone? What did I say? 28 and 12. Going to the line 12 times. That would be my stat line. So you got to remember, Gobert, he's a guy you can give him some, I'm not saying serious. He's a hell of a defender. There's no doubt about it. I think Embiid could still get his. But Rudy Gobert is not going to be easy. Is this an everyday show? Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Simmons' stats. 10 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds. He's been playing better offensively. Maybe that's disrespectful. I'll redo this. 13 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds. 13, 8, and 8. What are we going to do with Deshaun Jackson? See you, buddy. Deshaun, Alshon, Malik Jackson, Wentz, Ertz, Dillard. The list goes on and on and on. Furkan Korkmaz wants to know what his stats are going to be. 2, shooting 1 of 9, minus 26. Oh, man. My back hurts. My back hurts, fellas. From shoveling the snow to slipping on black ice to having no back support during coffee with Brodes this morning. Oh, man. Do we need a good stretch? A good coffee stretch. I love how after the show's over, I crushed the bottom of this because I get about half, a little half, more, half. I was going to say half. I'm an idiot. I'm a moron. Significantly more than half. Maybe 2 sips left, 3 sips left. So I crush that, I pound that, and what do? Put this right back under the coffee machine, and we go for a whole nother one. If I used a standard coffee mug for this show, I would have to reheat my coffee 10,000 times. My coffee has to be hot. If my coffee's not hot, I'm done. If it's lukewarm, if it's warm, if it's kind of hot, but it's still on that warm side, you're going in the microwave, damn it. I got to nuke it. But this thing, this Yeti, my Lord, it can keep it hot for hours. It's insane. Seth Curry trade was a steal. I think you're starting to see more of a standard Seth Curry. He came in shooting 60-something% from 3 in the beginning of this year. That's not sustainable. So he would fall back. Everyone knew that he would fall back to who he really was, and you're starting to see that, and now everyone's getting frustrated. What's going on with Seth? What's going on with Seth? What's happening with Seth? Why can't he make his shots? Well, because he's not a 62% from three guy. He's coming back to reality a little bit, and that's fine. You'll find a more, just like everything today. It's kind of a common theme, the medium. You'll find the happy medium with them. You will. You'll find the medium. So as the clock hits 10 o'clock here, does coffee cut into my appetite? Sometimes, to be honest with you, sometimes. Oh, I like iced coffee, but hot coffee more, significantly more. It's 10 o'clock, though, everyone. So there's the Coffee with Brodes for the day. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. It was a great, great way to start my Monday. No one likes Mondays. This was a great way for Monday to begin. Be ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have another Coffee with Brodes. Be aware, follow me on Twitter at Brodes81 if you want to stay up to date with all of the information. So much news will be dropping throughout the next couple of weeks. I will see you all on Twitter at Brodes81. Stay tuned for all the future things about to occur, and I'll see you on this stream tomorrow.